Good morning, it's Tony Hayes from Paranormal Investigation UK, and today's date is the 3rd of January 2022, just going up to 12:30. This is part 3 of movie 320. The part 1 and part 2 dealt with yesterday and are on YouTube, and this really is the last of a series of unusual phenomena or possible phenomena that occurred on the 25th of February 2021 at Chester. So it really all started at just after 1 o'clock when a heavy lead crystal glass just split in half in front of the owner. Then later on, it's around about 9:30 at night when no one was in the building, an unusual moaning sound was heard, which we analysed. And then later on, a series of unusual captures happened. Either the cameras were seen, noise heard, motion seen, noise heard, motion seen. So initially I thought it may be an easy one to analyse. It was a lot more to it and complex than what I first realised. So one was just an insect, there's no doubt, or it's sometimes difficult to tell, but certainly that one didn't have any paranormal connection whatsoever. Then there was some unusual tapping sounds, loud enough to trigger the camera. So we've got a frequency hit, and the volume was relatively high for that to occur. Then we had the top of the light, the stairs, because the problem of this is on the first floor. There's a set of steps, that's the only way down. At the top of there is a light sensor that brings the lights on if anyone's around that stairway area. They actually came on, triggered the CCTV camera. A little bit later on, a couple of minutes later, that light goes out, which triggers the camera again, because obviously you've seen a change in the environment. And as I listened all the way through there, this was the last video yesterday, there was a noise which is certainly within the human spectrum without question, but quite low in volume, and it highly suggests, because actually amplified this quite hard to get any sort of frequency showing on the analyzer. Seemed to be some distance away. If it's around the stairway area, that would explain it, because it's got to pass through 2 doors and 2 sets of walls. So that's the situation we're in at today. The movie we're looking at is timed at 22:04, which is this one, so it's motion heard, and this is the last one of this series, so I can get rid of that now. So what we'll do, just put my headphones back on. A good tip for anyone that's interested in the investigation side, does the analysis, how to analyse footage, audio, that type of thing. If you listen to audio, always use over-ear headphones that completely cover your ears. That isolates you from the outside environment. Don't avoid things like laptop speakers, mobile phone speakers. Earbuds are okay up to a point. And again, the higher quality the headphones use, the better chance you can, especially if we're dealing with audio like we are doing on a lot of occasions with this. So this is some sort of visual thing on this last of the video. So let's start it straight up and see where it takes us. What I'll also do is I'll turn the actual, I'm going to amplify the 15-16 decibels extra. Right. Let's go back to the beginning. Oh wow, okay, that's a sound. I'm sure 22 alarm through motion. I'm not noise heard. I correct myself. It is a noise. Right, okay. Yeah, that's triggered the camera. What I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it down to normal volume, see what it does sound like. That's very similar to the one earlier. That is very similar to the one earlier. It sounds the same. That's it. 2127. Tapping sound heard within the hallway area. So that's going to be interesting. Compare these. That's 2127. And this is 2204. So it's like 40 minutes after, isn't it? Right, okay, that makes it a little bit more interesting. Right. Yeah, it does sound like the same as the other. Right, okay, let's turn the volume back up, make sure we're not missing anything else, and just watch the rest of it. Then we'll come back to analyse that sound. Just get rid of that, make sure we don't miss anything that's seen. Where the cursor is here, there's another door that leads into the main office. This door leads into the hallway. So this is only very, I'd say no more than 12 feet long, this. The camera is, well, you can see how small it is. The camera's right in the corner, similar corner to that, but on this other side. Okay, and this is the reason why if we get something going on into the other room, we know instantly, because you can't get into the room without going past there. Right, okay, so what I'm actually going to do, turn the volume down, back to normal. Always avoid amplification unless you want to hear something, but then just turn it back. Otherwise you get a splattered frequency, difficult to fully analyse accurately anyway. Right, as before, let's just loop that. Average. That's quite a lot of sound reflecting, vibration in a way. It does sound metallic-y. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get a fix on the frequency now. Then we'll compare the two side by side. So till there. great little tool, this snipping device. So the snipping tool or sniping tool, depending on what you want to call it. Okay. There's that one. Let's bring that up. Okay, so this is the sound from yesterday. It sounds very similar. So we've got this little big peak of frequency around about 800 hertz. 800 hertz. There's a peak of frequency. Nothing around 1000, nothing around 1000. Then we look at the next one, which is say 1200. Quite high, 1200 beginning to pick up. The peak is there here, which is around about 1600 hertz. That's the loudest. 1600 hertz, and there's another peak there. We'll call it 3000. 1, 2, 3. Which is there. And that one there. So without doubt, it's a very similar sound. Whatever's making the sound, it's the same one between them. This was at 2127, the first sound, and then the same sound again that occurs at 2204. And I've noted there a tapping sound is loud enough to trigger the alarm, and it's certainly loud enough there. So what I will do is, this is all part of what you do when you're investigating stuff, is that how can I rule out the scenario. The problem we have with this is that I'm so far behind with the Cheshire case that, you know, I'm looking at footage back to the 25th of February, went out on the 3rd of January 2022. So if this had come in quite reasonable, you know, recently, within the space of the last few days or a week or so, I could actually say to the owner, can you photograph the environment, particularly around the camera, let's see around there. But I know what, I'm going to do it anyway because I'm fairly confident there's nothing there anyway, just there's nothing below it. The only thing close to it is the false ceiling above it. So I'm going to ask for another photograph. I'm pretty certain that I've got one on here anyway. I'll have a quick look. Just to see if we've got anything. I will have a photograph somewhere, I know I will. Yeah, it's got to be finding it. I'll ask for another photograph. Yeah, I'll ask for a further photograph be taken, then I'll share that with you when I do the next video, because the next date is only the following day, the 26th of February. So the building was pretty active for for a few weeks, and as often happens with this type of case, it has a period of what I call recycling. So for example, initially it would be active for 10 days, stop for 3, nothing for 3 days, then it starts again, 10 days, stop for 3, 10 days, stop for 3. This recycling process. Why that is, I have no idea. You may have their own thoughts and opinions on that. Please share them. So as far as today's review goes, it's a very similar tapping. I'm not going to call it rapping, but certainly similar tapping sound as it was for some 40 minutes earlier. We've already seen that. We've got another one, both loud enough to trigger the camera. So the problem is what's caused it. So that's where we have the problem. I'm probably going to class that as unexplained. I like to define stuff: unusual, unexplained, paranormal if it needs to be, or rational explanation. All we are doing is suggesting a possibility of it being unexplained. Next is we find out what the reason is. I've already looked at things like the wall clock. Some of these can make noises. There's no clock in there, so we can rule that out. So there we go. So I'll hopefully be able to get a couple more reviews in today. So see you on the next review. Cheers.